Await no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. With me, as always, my brilliant co-host, Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. I love the extra adjective added onto my name. I appreciate it.
Because you know what? You are the extra co-host. You know what I'm
Thanks,
saying?
man.
Like, you are the best of the best. One would say the greatest of all the land, but that has been trademarked.
Oh,
by the biggest by Mr. Guru Moneybags over there. He's come and claimed that. With me today, our special guest, Mr. Patrick from the Ten Talk, the Paddy Wagon himself. How are you, man?
What's up, dudes? And who said Sony didn't cross-play, man?
Exactly. See, this is what I've been trying to say. I've been trying to get more, different voices out as guests. So, if in by chance that we've run into more like Nintendo folks or Xbox folks, I want to get them on the show as much as possible because it's fun to have a different voice talking about PlayStation rather than just two people who really do love the brand. You get just an extra, an outside perspective, which I always appreciate. But we'll get to the main reason why you're here in a sec. The main focus, we got literally almost nothing to talk about this week. This has been the most barren of news ever. So, Kyle, please tell me you've been playing games.
Not really, Joe. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. When you run a summer camp, you get home, you pass out on the couch.
I feel you.
I think I played a little bit of Far Cry 3, the remastered version, yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to knock out all the outposts and stuff. It's a fun game to just drop in for a couple minutes and drop out.
Can I just ask you one question, Kyle?
Yeah.
You get a haircut?
No.
You're looking snazzy as fuck
Thanks,
today.
man. I'm usually wearing a hat. That's probably why.
That's probably it. You're throwing me through a loop right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're running
some of that
and
some of that Hollow Knight on the Switch, which is fantastic.
Okay. All right, enough of that nonsense.
I know. Well, hey, we have Patrick here. I knew
Nintendo would come in.
That's true. Oh no, Nintendo's actually going to appear a lot in this podcast. Surprisingly enough. Because they are actually giving us news. So with that, Pat, you run a Nintendo show, but you own now a new thing. Praise be to Shu, a PlayStation owner now. So what have you been playing on your PlayStation?
We have gone to the dark side. I think you guys are the dark side.
I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I feel it. I'm a Sith Lord. I appreciate it.
So in terms of PS4, been playing the Insane Trilogy. And yes, even on PS4, we're doing physical. Insane Trilogy. I feel like I'm 10 again, man. They did a great job with this this remaster.
So spot on.
And also Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Just started.
How many hours in are you?
So I just defeated Sabertooth thing.
Okay. You're still working your way in there. That's great. How are you liking it right now? Because the beginning's a little slow. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, so immediately off the bat, I think the biggest reason why I'm playing this, to be completely honest, is to compare it to Breath of the Wild. That was the big conversation last year. Mm-hmm. I'm loving it. The visuals, the story, that's new. So the story is really good. So far, it's really good. I like how the wilds is a big emphasis, and it's kind of like what time period is this in? It feels very tribe-like.
Yeah, and it comes to a surprise that it's actually post apocalyptic. Mm-hmm. So Horizon was my game of the year last year, and to me, it's just both Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn just do a great job at crafting this world, and in both totally different ways. Horizon tones the world by crafting this story, and Breath of the Wild crafts this world by actually not having a story, right? You making your story is what makes Breath of the Wild's world so beautiful. So with that said, you're a couple hours in. Are you thinking that the praise or maybe it got overshadowed? What are you thinking of the game so far?
Oh yeah, it was definitely bad timing to come out with. I mean, not that Breath of the Wild is a titan, but for the Switch, it's a giant game. But yeah, dude, I definitely getting a lot of Assassin's Creed vibes from this game.
Okay.
A lot more stealth, I feel like, is involved in this game. But dude, I'm loving it, man. The visuals alone, like going from Nintendo to PlayStation, that's the first thing you notice, man. It's just like, it's nuts. So yeah, I'm having fun with that. Actually, I picked up some games, the mid-year sale, which I was telling Joseph before, is probably the best sale I've ever seen. Like crazy deals on there. And I found out that you could buy PS2 games on PS4. So I'm having a blast. I picked up Dark Cloud 2. Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. So yeah, we're going to have a ball with this.
That's fantastic. For me, I'm sorry, Bobby Miller, but I'm playing more Fortnite. And I gotta also say this, Bobby Miller, there's so much more Fortnite to come. It's literally the only news this week, to be completely honest. But I want to step away from that. And Pat, you said it before, the Crash and Sane trilogy. I've been playing that on the Switch, and it's my God, it is like I'm a kid again. And I waited, I bought it on the PlayStation. That's why I got this little knack right here. I got the little tiki mask on my mic. I waited for the Switch. I bought it on PlayStation first, and then I was just, you know what? I'll wait a year. Because I know eventually, so many people make this such an issue. It's like, oh, you say, Sony gets a pass when they have like console-like exclusives. I'm like, at least they're pretty much upfront and honest about it, right? Cough, cough, Xbox, cough, cough, Tomb Raider. Come on, like, let's be real here. And so, I was like, I'm going to wait a year. Obviously, it's going to make it to other platforms. And the Switch is just a place for me. If I want to play a platformer, I just feel like it's there. Like, it's just there. I mean, they don't have Knack.
No, they don't. Our Lord and Savior.
Pat, listen, you need to get Knack. You need to. It's going to be the best bargain bin episode if you get Knack.
Don't give away one of my selections for later in the episode.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, and speaking of Crash Bandicoot, the Bandicoot is absolutely where he belongs to be. I've stated this before. Nintendo has no platformers. I've heard they have a plumber guy.
Wait. You're saying he belongs on the Switch?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No. I mean, he belongs. Well, you'll see where I'm going with this.
Okay.
You'll see where I'm going with this segue. He's right where he belongs. Because to me, Nintendo, they don't have good platformers, right? Here's where I'm going back to this.
Here we go. Hey,
I heard of this plumber guy. I don't know his name. I think his name's Wario or Waluigi. I don't know, the truest stars of Nintendo. You got Kirby, which, let's be honest, Kirby sucks. Kirby's dumb and Kirby's bad.
Hurting me.
Okay? Kirby's awful. And so for me, when I see Crash Bandicoot, #1 on the UK sales charts, it is officially, as of 2018, it is the fastest selling Switch game. Pat, I want to hand this over to you. What do you think is the cause of this? Is it nostalgia? Because for Nintendo fans, they've never had the experience of a Crash game. So what do you think it is?
I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. I think for $40, you're getting 3 games that are beautifully done. I mean, I think nostalgia is a big part of it. I don't know if I would say it's the best platformer out there, but it's a fun game.
It's true. I would say the greatest, right?
But I think Nintendo has a big problem this year of coming out with new games, and for Nintendo fans, it is a new game. For me, though, 10-year-old Pat, we're going back here. I can't play this game without a PlayStation controller. Like, I can't do it, man. Just like when Spyro comes out, everyone's like, "Oh, wait for the Switch version." It's just like, to me, I'm not interested because that's how I played it originally. And then going back, I feel like, I mean, it's good on the Switch. I've heard the performance in handheld isn't the greatest, but
I would like to refute that. I think the performance on handheld mode is just fine. Actually, I've played it on handheld. I don't understand. I'm still in the first game.
Yep.
But I don't understand the complaints about it. Like, it drops and this, that, and the other thing. Because when I'm playing in handheld mode, I'm not expecting 1080p. I'm not expecting the greatest quality. So for me, I feel like it's fine. What about you, Kyle? He's never owned a Nintendo console. So what do you think is
I've owned plenty of Nintendo consoles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right, you've never owned an Xbox.
Yes. Yeah. So never owned that other one. Sorry, Sean. I think it's great that Nintendo users will actually get a chance to play some Crash because, like Pat was saying, like it is nostalgia, like to its core. Like my gaming childhood was Crash. It was one of the first games I ever rented from Blockbuster, along with actually renting the PlayStation console itself when you used to be able to do that. And and like popping it in last year when I got it and just seeing how great it looks. Like I know it's not how it looked when I was little, but when I saw it last year, I was like, no, this is how I remember it being, even though I know it's true. And like I'm happy Nintendo gets to get a shot at it because the Crash games are genuinely really good platformers. Yeah, and I'm glad another whole audience gets to experience it for the first time, maybe.
Yeah, and for me, I think it does show that like a lot of the Nintendo audience, there has been a drought, and if you're like Bobby, in the pocket of Big Ojo out there, Guru, that he's gonna say the Nintendo Switch is fine. There's no drought. You're all crazy, but I think there is a hunger for actual content. Like I have not seen so much excitement around games like Octopath Traveler, and I think Octopath is going to do great because there is no competition. I think the first half of this year for the Switch has been, I'm going to use the word, and maybe it's too strong, but it's been a bit barren when it comes to third-party games, first-party and third-party games. I think it's been incredibly strong in the indie circuit, but to me, I just feel like, I'm hungry to play something on my Switch, and it shows the power of the Nintendo, which I think is going to be a perfect segue to our next topic. But before I do that, I'm actually going to ruin the segue. It's awesome to see God of War is number 6 on the list.
Yes!
It's still selling so well.
That's so good.
That's great. It's nuts. Oh man, let me tell you something.
Yeah, Santa Monica deserves all the praise in the world for that game.
Every single one. Oh my god, what an experience!
And you know what? It's gonna keep selling when we get to the holiday season because that's gonna go on sale.
Oh, absolutely.
And anyone that does not own it at that time, that's gonna be the number one get.
Yeah. You're gonna see that shit drop to wow, it got real. You're gonna see that. Sorry, Tim's son. You're gonna see that. 40, maybe $30 come like Black Friday. But to me, I'm just like, that's going to be excellent. Again, that's the Sony logic of doing things that just makes so much sense. It's like, we don't need to compete with Call of Duty or Red Dead or whatever. We'll just put our stuff in the spring. And I think it works so well.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Nintendo and playing nice and people being thirsty for some Nintendo hardware and for Nintendo software, it seems like they're doing a lot of things right at the moment. And there was an interview here at IGN that I really want to pull out a quote that was stated by one of the senior executive officers, Sashumu Takanaka. I think I nailed it.
It sounded good to me.
Sounded good.
I really feel like I only offended like 5 people this time. So I'm sorry, #privilege. So he went and he talked about crossplay. Yeah, I added this last minute. Yes, we're going to talk about crossplay one more time, but I think we're going to spread some light on this issue that I think we kind of missed a few weeks back. So with that, he says, crossplay basically comes out from conversations between publishers and platform holders, Takanaka explained. We are inclined to do what we can to help publishers incorporate crossplay that is what they want. The other parties involved also have a say whether they want to be able to reach this outcome or not, so we will continue to discuss it with them. Now, I'm going to first critique this quote one sec, because a lot of people have critiqued Sony's approach, and the president of Sony, why am I blanking on this brilliant man's name?
Sean Layden?
Sean Layden. How they said that it was just a PR bullshit response. This is equally PR and bullshit. Like, we do whatever we want for our developers. Really? Has that really ever been Nintendo's real slogan? Absolutely not. Like, their history would prove. Again, big in the pocket of a Tui, Mr. Nintendo Guru would tell you everything's fine Nintendo plays nice with everyone, but history has shown they don't listen to fucking publishers or developers whatsoever. Yeah. But with that, he says something really excellent. He's practically saying that, yeah, if a developer wants crossplay, we're on board with that. Pat, what do you feel about Nintendo and their crossplay message so far?
I think they've handled it pretty well, and the games that have had crossplay, I think, have been pretty big hits, like Rocket League, Fortnite. Those are just good examples of games that there's already a big install base there. Mm-hmm. Let's play with our friends. And I think that, I was talking to some people that have never even owned a PlayStation console, and the whole thing about crossplay, I think, has negatively affected people's outlook on Sony.
Absolutely.
But I think that Nintendo has handled it pretty well. But the whole thing comes up again. It's like performance. I'm sure we'll get to third parties later. But I mean, yeah, it's nice that you could crossplay. I feel like Warframe just got announced for the Switch, and there's going to be there's going to be no crossplay with that, which is interesting. So I don't know. It seems like I don't think they're catering to every single developer, but the times that they have done it, it's worked out well. So.
All right. What about you, Kyle?
Well, I think the way Nintendo's handling it is actually like really super smart.
Yeah.
Because they turn the conversation as to why you should get the Nintendo version of this game, because you can play with more people. And with all these multiplayer games, that's the whole point. You want to play with more people. So them fully embracing it and that image of the Nintendo and Xbox title screen, whatever it was, the logos together. That's like that's a super powerful image, and they're super smart for doing it. And yeah, I think they're going about it the right way.
Yeah, I think to me this puts perceived value to the Nintendo's online service more than ever, and I also feel like when we have this conversation about crossplay, I failed to mention this a few weeks ago, that we didn't really give a shit when PlayStation and Xbox weren't playing nice with each other. When PlayStation was like, nah, we'll crossplay with PC and mobile, but we're not doing Xbox. And I feel like everybody was like, okay, fine. But once we saw Nintendo enter the Fortnite arena, and then everybody kind of turned their eyes towards crossplay and Nintendo announcing it with Xbox, and then, seeing those commercials, then all of a sudden it seemed like people started to give a shit. And I think that shows the power of not just Sony, and I'll get to why power of Sony in a second, but the power of Nintendo. Like, they have such a sphere of influence, because whether you are a PlayStation fanboy like me, you have owned a Nintendo console, right? You have a piece of nostalgia with Nintendo. And with the success of the Switch being a hot commodity that people are wanting, and like people who are never like gamers in the first place going out there and buying, it shows that Nintendo, though they don't have the biggest market share right now, it's growing, and this positive message that they have of crossplay is helping them tenfold. Now, when it comes to the power of Sony, it shows how fragile that power really is. Because we talked about it a few weeks ago, that Sony isn't like Microsoft. Microsoft can do this whenever they wanted to. They chose now because it's going to be a thing that is going to help them in the long run, right? They can take that hit when it comes to, people buying things on their console or not, because they're Microsoft. They're not like Sony that relies way more on PlayStation than Microsoft does on Xbox. They don't rely on it at all. Microsoft can ditch Xbox whenever it wanted to, and it'd be just fine. So I think it shows how fragile that power is when it comes to Sony wielding it. And with that, I want to ask you guys a real important question, because I thought about this. There's actually a meme that got me thinking of how much damage, depending on when they announce, because their backtrack on this, because they are planning it. Sean Layden said, we're working on something right now. And it isn't as easy what everybody thinks it is. It's not just a Switch. This is a corporation thinking about not just one game, but they're thinking about the next games that come after it. So it's not so simple. It's not so black and white. And with that, I'm going to go to Kyle.
Yeah.
How much damage do you think this crossplay initiative, the alliance, it seems, between Nintendo and Xbox, how much do you think it's going to hurt Sony in the long run? And I'm talking not just this year, but next year with like the PlayStation 5, whenever that comes out.
I don't think it's going to cause too much damage, because I believe, was it last week's episode or 2 weeks ago? Sony will still be fine. Without even mentioning crossplay again. But in terms of these multiplayer-only games, I think it did hurt. I know plenty of friends who just dropped Fortnite on PS4 and is strictly playing on the Switch. And even when the new Warframe announcement coming to Switch, I know friends who were interested in playing it on PS4, but the moment it was announced for Switch, they're like, I'm definitely getting it there. And I think that all kind of goes towards the announcement of the crossplay thing and the controversy at E3 when people were locked out of their accounts, and which is stupid. But
do you think that's where the true controversy lies?
I do. I really do. I think crossplay is kind of like the poster boy of controversy there, but underneath it, it's more like, hey, you locked me out of my account without telling me. I think that's the main reason people are upset, and they're kind of
that's the main reason I'm upset.
Yeah, and they're linking on to crossplay and pushing that just as much as they are the other thing.
Yeah. Do you think when the PlayStation 5 comes out, this is going to do big damage to them?
No, I don't think it's going to affect PS5.
Okay. What about you, Pat? Where do you fall on this? How much damage do you think Sony's gonna have with this whole crossplay thing?
I think it's gonna have a little bit of an effect on. I honestly do think it will have an effect on the next console. I think a big question now will be, well, can I play with my friends? And it's so unfair, and I almost feel like Xbox in particular is holding on to this. Like, wait, PlayStation has flaws? Well, let's talk about these more. Yeah. Let's make a graphic with our homies Nintendo. It just seems like it's unfair slander, and that just goes to show you, like, console wars are not dead, guys. Like, still alive and healthy, and also it's something that the media, gamers are taking to heart, and it's becoming a bigger issue than it is. I don't know. I feel like a lot of PlayStation owners are not concerned about if they could play with Switch people. I don't feel like it's a big. I don't feel like it's a big thing.
Yeah, I think it is because of the lack of news this summer that it isn't. It has become a bigger deal than it actually is. And when I say that, again, I am very much pro crossplay. We deserve to play with everyone. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to protect Sony, but I do want to reiterate one message that I feel like so many people. I'm going to point out the Xbox Drive. I'm going to point out Mr. Moneybags Guru over there. That they're like to say, like, this is it. Like, this is a cataclysmic moment. This is a chink in the armor that it's exposed. PlayStation is exposed. This is it. The PlayStation 5, when that comes out, holy crap, is it going to? From what I've heard, like from how people are throwing it out there, it seems like they're like, oh, any minute it's just gonna fail. This is arrogant Sony again, and I think it is arrogant to an extent. Like that PR statement, I think, was a huge blunder, and I think Sean Layden going out there and actually reiterating the message and actually putting it in a better wording actually made a lot more sense. And we're gonna talk about Shuehei Yoshida here, Lord and Savior, about talking about the PS3 in a second. So to me, when I think about crossplay, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. It sucks, but I don't think it's going to hurt the PlayStation 5. I think it's going to do a very little, depending on how Microsoft attacks it. Because I think what a lot of people are forgetting, that though Sony's moving slow on this issue, we like them to move faster. They are resolving it. I again, Sean Layden says it, and that is something we could hold over his head if it doesn't. If this is still not fixed by the time PS5 comes out, they're in trouble. But I mean, it's gonna get resolved. Yeah.
If anything, they're setting up PlayStation to hit another home run, much like the sharing the games thing at the PS4 reveal. Right. They can come out next E3 when they're trying to explain PS5, and they're going to be like, crossplay for every game, or we now have crossplay between all other consoles. Yeah. That could be a huge home run, and I feel like Sony is going to be working towards that. They're smart.
Gamescom is only in a few weeks.
What was that?
Gamescom. It's only in a few weeks. Give them a little bit of time. Again, it's not like flipping a switch when you're overhauling a way that something works. Just take any type of government out there. Things change takes time. It is not flipping a switch like everybody wants to make it out to believe. And I want to also nail this because a lot of people are saying that this is it, PS5. Holy crap, whenever the new Xbox comes out, they're going to be so powerful. This is going to be so great. Remember the Red Ring of Death?
Yeah.
Anybody remember that? Remember how they never resolved that issue? Never. They never fixed the Red Ring of Death. You want to know how they fixed the Red Ring of Death? Sean Capri, #Capri for Conspiracy, won't tell you this. But they fixed it by taking the red LED out. My Halo console, the last Xbox console I loved, I got teary-eyed when I had to give her up, had the Red Ring of Death. No, it was never fixed. I went through, me and my brother, over half a dozen Xbox 360s.
Wow.
People went through multiple Xbox 360s. And if I were to take hardware failure, then literally you don't have a console to play for months. Remember the height of the Red Ring? That was a way bigger issue. And guess what? The thing that ultimately made the Xbox One flounder for the longest time, and let's just get to the chase, it's a failure. The Xbox One is a failure. Let's be brutally honest with it. No service is going to save it. I think even the way Microsoft looks at it, they just announced a new Xbox in the coming future for a reason. They want to get out of the name One. Is the lack of customer service, right? Hey, you know what? Only online. Hey, you want to trade in your games? Yeah, okay. Here's a camera that's always going to watch you. Oh yeah, we're $100 more than the competition. Those were the things people were talking about. It wasn't the Red Ring of Death. It was what Microsoft's console was about, and it wasn't for the gamers. It was TV, football, sports.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that did them in, not the Red Ring. That was, to me, if I had to compare the two, it's a way bigger deal than any type of crossplay. Because at least on the PlayStation, I could turn it on and it works, right? So that's my rant. I'm so sorry, but I had to have it because I thought about it. I was like, nobody's talking about the Red Ring issue. Everybody's just hopping on this like it's like the do or die. I do think that if we don't see it by the summer, there's a mistake being made. And if they're waiting for this for a PSX moment, please don't.
I mean, the biggest thing about crossplay is that it's unfortunate that it affects the biggest game on the planet. That's the big thing. It's affecting, obviously Fortnite. So I don't know. It sucks. It's more of PlayStation, or is it Epic, or it's more PlayStation?
It's more PlayStation.
It sounds to me like they have a deal with Epic,
okay,
some sort of marketing deal or something like that.
Every time you see Fortnite, the PlayStation logo appears, unless it's in a direct. They have marketing and exclusive skins as well if you're on the PlayStation brand. So with that though, when I'm right now torn, honestly, between with the new season of Fortnite happening, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. I am torn between going PlayStation or going with the Switch because I don't touch my Xbox, and I don't know if I ever will. So with that, I'm torn between the Switch or the PlayStation. In all honesty, because this crossplay thing, a lot of my friends are Nintendo Switch owners. A lot of the audience that listen to this, their PlayStation is not your main console. And which amazes me why you guys listen, and thank you. Keep sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very humbling. And so to me, I am very torn about where I'm going. But in the future, do I really care about crossplay? No, not really, because I every time I'm in a lobby with a PC person, I hate it because I know I'm gonna lose because the building is too insane. Yeah, and I know if I'm in a lobby with mobile players, I know I'm gonna be the PC player in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be.
I mean, I felt that way when Rocket League was crossplay for a very short time on PlayStation. Like when I would play against PC people, and I could clearly tell that they were kicking my ass because they were PC.
Oh yeah,
like it was.
The way they move their bodies, you could just tell right off the bat of what they are. Even how they build, like how they turn, you know they're PC. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Talking about Fortnite, we have it in the news right now. There's some crazy shit going on in this game, guys. Items are disappearing. I didn't put this on the news last week on purpose because I needed to give Bobby Miller a break. And so I decided to put it in this piece of news since Season 5 is coming out.
Before you continue, Joe.
Yes.
Pat, do you play Fortnite?
I do. Yeah, I played on the Switch. I had it for Xbox, but that console is being sold. So
gotcha.
We're only a Switch player right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, could you just elaborate on that? Not to trash on Xbox, but why choose the PlayStation over the Xbox? I'm just curious.
I mean, honestly, the whole reason for getting another console is third parties. Like I just finished up on my podcast, but I was telling them these four third party games, we got Crash, Okami, Doom, and Wolfenstein, are literally the price of one third party on the Switch. So as a consumer, it just makes more sense. Honestly, I would play Fortnite on the PS4 if it had crossplay, because 30 frames per second on the Switch, it looks bad. Yeah. It looks really, really bad. I mean, especially if you're sniping, that's when you really see it. Yeah, it's next to impossible. But
I'll say this: playing on the Switch has dumbed my skills down. I'm getting annihilated on PS4 right now. With that though, things are disappearing on the map of Fortnite. We had things like the Greasy Grove, the burger place, the big giant burger face disappeared. Gone. We had the big giant tomato from Tomato Town just up and go missing. There's cracks along the sky that are getting bigger, and more cracks are appearing. And then things are appearing on the map, like an anchor. We had dinosaur bones. And you're like, okay, Joe, but how does this get crazy? Let me tell you how this gets crazy. These things are appearing in real life, and they're not telling anybody. Like, people found, and I'm gonna pull up this article on IGN. There have been llamas sighted in a UK phone booth in Poland. We've seen on a beach in California the burger. I think either the burger or the tomato from Tomato Town.
That's crazy.
And they're not telling anybody this. People are just stumbling on these things, which makes me wonder, is this the craziest marketing ploy you've ever seen in a video game? If not, what is the next or what is the next craziest marketing thing you've ever seen in a video game?
I mean, this is pretty awesome because I did not know that they were appearing in real life. Part of me wants to believe that it's like some hacker who's hacking into the game and doing this on his own, like a Banksy, like some sort of art piece person. Yeah. But this is a really cool marketing thing. But to go back to a game we already talked about, Crash. Yeah. I loved Crash with the megaphone outside of Nintendo's.
That's what I was gonna say.
That is like top tier level marketing in my eyes.
Oh man. Well, Pat, you were gonna say the same thing?
Same thing, dude. And I just love it because we all know that there is competition. Yeah. And to blatantly put the mascot, at the time, to Nintendo, that's gold there.
It's very much like when I watched wrestling back in the day when Generation X drove the tank up to WCW and went through the Monday Night Wars and they were yelling right outside the gates. Like, I love that stuff because they're actually acknowledging it. And they're doing it in a fun way, and it's still so memorable to me.
So, Joe, is this Fortnite? Yeah. Is this do we know that Fortnite's doing it, or could it be Epic, this artist?
Yeah, no, Epic is completely behind in all this.
Okay.
So when the things are disappearing, they're creating rifts. And when things appear, like the dinosaur bones, there's these rifts that get bigger and bigger, and then bam, this thing just appears.
Okay.
Out of thin air. To me, the best marketing campaign of anything ever, okay? I'm saying this, and we just bashed Xbox a few minutes ago. Halo 3 finished the fight. Campaign was fucking incredible, and it moved you. It genuinely moved you. When they interviewed, they did a mock interview of some 60-year-old Marine talking about the fight that the chief was in, and you're seeing this huge scale, literal monument to the Master Chief, and all these soldiers fighting, and I'm just and then it's just finish the fight. It made the ending of Halo so great. And I think Reach is also that just nice bookend to what I like to pretend Halo ended. Because to me, the rest have just gone crazy downhill. It's either Halo 4, great story, shitty multiplayer, or Halo 5, shitty story, great multiplayer. It's it's not catching a break. So to me, that's my favorite thing.
That actually reminds me of a PlayStation branded marketing thing that I love. Do you guys remember the commercial where it was all the video game characters in a tavern?
Yes.
And they're to Michael, and it's a picture of a PlayStation player on a portrait, and they're all telling tales of his escapades, and it's Kratos and Nathan Drake and Ratchet and people just at a bar hanging out, and they're telling this whole tale of this PlayStation player named Michael, and that is so awesome.
I even like the new stuff that PlayStation's doing with the guy that's walking in the armory, and you're just seeing all these iconic weapons.
I think it's the same guy in the tavern.
Yeah,
I believe it's the same one from the same commercial. So
it's awesome. It's awesome, nonetheless. My guys, I wanna ask you guys this question. Just a little speculation. So things are going on in this map in Fortnite. Going back to Fortnite for a second.
Sorry about.
What do you think this epic conclusion is going to be? Do you think they're going to A, overhaul the map, or do you think B, it's going to be a new map entirely? I'm going to start with Pat. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know, man, because I was going to ask you guys. You guys have probably been playing longer than me. Do you guys want the map to change? I feel because I watch a couple quote unquote pro players play, and the map, that's a big strategy for players. So do you want these people that have been playing since day one getting a new map? Is that gonna hurt the game? But I think we are gonna see some changes, man. Yeah. Especially where those rifts are.
Yeah. So you think it's just gonna be changes to the map, not a new map?
I think it's gonna be changes, but it's gonna be drastic changes.
Okay.
Lonely Lodge will be a desert or something. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I think they're gonna go weird with it.
Put the Allie music on when we're doing this.
Personally, for me, I think it would be cool if it's just a brand new map completely, which I think I'm leaning towards them taking out the old stuff and new stuff's appearing. I think that's what they're kind of hinting at, and that would actually make me want to hop back in, because that's one of the reasons why I don't play it that much. I'm kind of tired of the same old stuff every time I hop in. I would love a new surrounding. A new environment. So if they add new things and make it exciting and new for everybody, I think that's a big hook to get people back in.
Yeah, I think personally I would like it to be a separate map, because the map that they have right now is, to me, perfect. But when it comes to Fortnite, the map has and does constantly change over time. They do the soccer field wasn't there a few weeks ago. Lucky Landing used to not be there. Moisey Mire used to not exist. Tilted was not there a couple months back. So for me, they constantly add things, but I think at this point there's just one or two places that need a little bit of changing, and I think now you could then say, okay, this map, perfect. Let's move to another map where we can start making something with it and letting the audience know that this is a unique concept and it's going to change with your feedback. Because I think with PUBG, they did a really bad job with Myanmar, the second map in that game, and a lot of people just were turned off. That was the start with PUBG, of people starting to get turned off because they hated that map. And so I think if Fortnite and Epic, they have to play with this idea in a very smart way. But I would like to see more variety, because I am starting to get tired of the same map, the same places I'm going to, and I would like to see some type of variety. So.
Also, I really love how they're teasing this at the same time that PUBG is showing off another new map with I think it's called Shoshana or something.
Yeah.
So I love that Fortnite's like, oh, you have something new? So do we.
Ain't that cute? Yeah.
It's a fine line though, because like you have this map, the biggest game, like we were saying before. Like, how much do you change it? Like, you can't keep it the same because it'll get stale. But like changing it too much might, I don't know. So it's definitely a fine line. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Let's go to our next story. Enough Fortnite talk. Bobby, you thank me later. Overwatch Pink Mercy skin campaign raises over $12.7 million for breast cancer. Holy crap. So they revealed the skin that was able to purchase back in, I would like to say, May 8th to the 25th, I believe. It was about like a 3-week long campaign where it was an awesome Mercy skin. Seriously. Awesome. And can I say hot. But nonetheless, awesome. And Blizzard is known for doing this multiple times. They've done it in WoW. The one I can remember is, I think they gave you a little mini panda back when Miss Pandaria was just even a fever dream. And they did it again with a special mount that you were able to buy. Blizzard does this a lot. I want to know, guys, when it comes to this campaign, does it tell you how much, or does it kind of show maybe an inclination or reveal something of how much Blizzard actually makes on skins? Because 12.7 million in 3 weeks is crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kyle? What do you think of all this news?
That's insane. And can I like start creating skins for something if I get $12 million?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and I think it's extra special because it's going to a great cause.
Yeah.
And I love, like, this would be something that I could tell people who are like, oh, gamers don't do anything good for anybody. Well, I mean, yeah, they got a skin out of it, but they still raised $12 million for breast cancer research.
That's
so
nuts.
Yeah.
It's I'm so happy that Blizzard does this stuff, and I wish more games would do things like this.
Yeah. What about you, Pat?
Yeah, I think it shows how much they're making. But it also shows, like, Overwatch is still huge, man.
Yeah.
Like, I would love if this game came to the Switch, because I think it would do great. Like, Paladins is off to a great start. And that's kind of like, a lot of people say it's like the generic Overwatch a little bit. But, yeah, I think they should do this, definitely. I mean, imagine one of these in Fortnite. Like, it'd be insane. Like, even once a month, I don't think people would get sick of it either. So, bring it on, man.
Yeah, no, and also the skin looks awesome. Not because Mercy is one of my favorite characters and also but also the wings are awesome because it gives them that Diablo-like appearance. That, oh god, what's the main angel, the good guy in Diablo? Oh god, I'm blanking.
You lost me,
man. I claim I'm the Blizzard fanboy, and I'm just blanking on his name. No, Terralion is Warcraft. I think it starts with a T though. I'm just gonna call him Titus.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Deckard Cain from Diablo. Yeah, no, but I wish I bought this skin because it's awesome and goes to a great cause. And yeah, awesome, great stuff. Slow news week, as we can tell. So let's get on to this next question here. Next topic. Oh goodness. Shuehei Yoshida, may he be praised, wishes that there were that they made more successful multiplayer games. This comes from Push Square, and I'm going to paraphrase when I'm saying this. I took this right out of the article, so please give them a little click right there. Yoshida-san went to say that there was a part of the reason Sony produces the type of games that it does is simply down to the talents of the studios it holds. He says this is an area which our studios have a chance to push the art forward. At the worldwide studios, teams must ultimately follow their hearts when creating games. This also comes from an ex-Sony employee stating that Sony, when it comes to them making their games, they actually are very hands-off. They really do let the developers speak for themselves. They'll lock them in. Don't like. Trust me, there'll be another Horizon game for sure. But they give them freedom to create something. And when we take a look at, I think David Ray, he poked me on Twitter, going, Sony makes the same game: action, role-playing, third-person, over-the-shoulder, open world. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Because to me, I feel like if you're good at something, keep doing it. What do you feel like when it comes to multiplayer games, Pat? Do you feel like they've tried this before and it just didn't work, so they're doing something that works and they're just going with it? What do you think?
I think single player games are, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, it's a nice change coming over to PlayStation. Yeah. I say keep doing it, man. I mean, I can kind of get like the samey kind of like, you know, dark kind of like grungy look of PlayStation games, but it's definitely a selling point for me to do this. And I don't know, there's so many great multiplayer games already. I feel like you're competing way too much with what everyone else is playing. So,
what about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I if you're gonna say they're samey because of the genre and the camera angle, sure they're samey. But what else is in that game is different types of stories and experiences, and that's what Sony hits out of the park in my eyes. And I think the reason Pat kind of hit it right there is they don't want to do multiplayer games because why compete? Why put all your eggs in a multiplayer only basket when so many other games and developers are doing it better and correctly? I mean, they tried it with SOCOM back in the day. I still think SOCOM could work now. But then you have other games like Mag, and God, that Mag was awful.
Oh man, so
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, but Mag stood for massive. Multiplayer arena game or something. It was like massive something. It was awful. And then they tried it again with like Warhawk and Starhawk, and they have like cult followings, but they didn't really take off because PlayStation, in my eyes, means story-based games, and that's what they do best.
Also, Nick, I'm poking fun at you. Don't take it serious. We love you, Nick. We love you so much. But I want to point out, because that's something a lot of people echo. It's like, Sony, okay, great, but it's the same game. To me, I think, Kyle, you hit it right on the head. Is it's like, but like these games are amazing. Like these games are something these studios. It seems like, again, from third-hand accounts or second-hand accounts, I don't know, that there are games that these studios really, really want to do, and they do them because they want to tell a story. Like, Cory Barlog spoke very, very openly about God of War, how Sony wasn't really on board with the idea, but they let Cory do it. Like, they were not sold on God of War coming back, but they're like, Cory, if you're sold on it, we're sold on it. Let's do it. And Cory had a team of like just a dozen of people. And when Killstrain died, they had over 100 people come on their game, and Sony backing this idea. So to me,
not to mention the canceled RPG they were working on.
Yeah. And to me, when I think of Sony Studios and I think of Last Generation, they sucked. Like let's be honest with each other. A lot of those games sucked. Like, Mag, Warhawk, Starhawk. They have a very, very loyal audience, and great if you love it. I'm not here to trash your game. But, like, the games that stood out, Last of Us, right? Uncharted. Those games are known for their single player. And guess what? Uncharted has amazing multiplayer.
I was going to say, and Last of Us, they are great story-based single-player games that just happen to have awesome and fun multiplayer modes.
Yeah.
So, Sony can do it that way if they want to do it.
Yeah, and I think, Pat, you also stated it right, is there's so many other multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's so many of them out there. Like, Fortnite's taking over the world. Call of Duty sells #1 all the time. We look at Microsoft, actually, with their multiplayer approach. They've actually suffered because a lot of their games are multiplayer and they come out in horrible times. Look at Halo, look at Gears of War, as brilliant example of multiplayer-focused games that end up bombing financially, though fucking Gears of War 4 is an amazing game and you should play it if you own an Xbox. But, like, that game didn't do well because it was in a time where Titanfall, Battlefield, Call of Duty, right? Everybody and their mother has an online game. And I think what Sony does so great, and it's the reason why they're at the power that they have right now, is because their games don't sell services. Their games sell consoles. God of War, remember, God of War console was the #1 selling console in the month of April. That's crazy. because God of War is an amazing, amazing game.
Look at Sea of Thieves. The #1 game being streamed on Twitch.
Yeah. And wow. for the first few days, that was incredible. A single player game. Look at Sea of Thieves, right? They push online, they push Game Pass. You could play it here day one. Game Pass, isn't this awesome? Game comes out, and yeah, it sells really well for the first week or two. But are we talking about Sea of Thieves still? And hell, are we even still talking about State of Decay? Are you still really playing it, Sean Capri? Are you still playing State of Decay? The answer is no. And even the sales charts, if we could go back up here, God of War is sitting at number 6. I tried to look at where State of Decay was. I can't find it. Let me make sure I don't look like an idiot here. But yeah, it's not in the top 10. It's not in the top 20, right? So when games don't sell services. And I think that is the thing that Sony gets really, really well, is that there's value in the games that they can make you buy a $400 piece of hardware that you don't need, right? Like, that's awesome. But my question to you guys is, if I was Shu, I waited till the end to do this. If I was Shu, what is the one multiplayer, or for you, Pat, because I know you're more of a single player guy, if there's one game, multiplayer focused, that you want to see come back as Sony IP, what would that game be? And Pat, I'll even say this. I'll even put a twist on it. A game that could be from another studio that Sony picks up, because I have one up my sleeve in a sec.
I think I got one. Okay,
Pat, go for it.
Okay. Here we go, guys. Twisted Metal. Make it multiplayer. One of my favorite games, honestly, like in general on PlayStation consoles. I think that would be a very unique one. We've seen like that car multiplayer with Rocket League, but this is in another league. No pun intended. Yeah. But yeah, Twisted Metal.
I think I stated this a few episodes back of like, make it free to play, make it $20, and like have that Fortnite structure of like different cars that come out. Oh my God. Destructible environments. Twisted Metal Black is one of the best games ever. Like, Twisted Metal on that PSP, bro. Like, dude, that was so awesome. What about you, Kyle?
I would love to see a Resistance multiplayer game. Just because like those weapons are awesome, and I believe Resistance 2 had a pretty fun multiplayer mode, which I enjoyed. I would love to have Insomniac have another crack at it.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna pull this one out of my hat right here. This is a game that Crytek actually owns, and they're not doing anything with, and some fans are trying to recreate it. So how about, Sony, you make the spiritual successor to Time Splitters 2? Give us the Time Splitters 3.
That's a good one.
That multiplayer was so much fun. It was like a cartoonish... I'm going to be brave enough here and say it was like a cartoonish version of Quake. And with all the unique characters that were in there, like there was a monkey and like a sock. And like, it was stupid, crazy shit. Dude, that just, it's begging. It's begging to be a Fortnite-esque type game where it's games as service over time. You could put it out for cheap or even free. Let the skins pay for themselves. Because we've seen it. People love stupid fucking skins. I buy them all the time on Fortnite. I am scared to look at my bank account because of that.
And so Joe, I just want to. I'm sorry. I just want to answer a question because you asked me like, why'd you pick PS4 over Xbox? Yes. Why are you selling Xbox? And you nailed it, dude. Like, games that sell consoles, and everyone, I feel like a lot of people were screaming, Microsoft won E3, like look at all the great exclusives and stuff. But after that, it actually turned me off, saying like, okay, you guys have all these like timed exclusives and you're showing it for the first time. But I saw a couple games at Sony where I need that game, and that's what's missing. Like, I'm one of the biggest.
You've never played The Last of Us.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
I know. Uncharted too. Like I got some time, man.
Oh my goodness fucking gracious.
Oh, yeah, that's a big emphasis, man, because like I love Gears. I love Halo, but even that wasn't enough. Like even Crackdown. I love Crackdown, but
yeah, I think I think you stated it perfectly. In retrospect, I love when people like nobody wins E3, everybody wins type of shit. Nobody wins E3. It's a thing that is it's a fucking beauty contest. I'm sorry I'm cursing too much. I'm so sorry, guys. But it is. It's a beauty contest, right? Who had the best presentation? Like we saw, like you said it. There were some games in that PlayStation conference that, oh my goodness. Joe after work, he's freaking out over that RE2 remake, right? But I walked away from that conference going, that was sucked because the presentation was awful. Mm-hmm. And then we look at Microsoft and you're like, their presentation was awesome. It was a great conference. They needed that conference. But then the reason why I'm kind of on the fence of selling my Xbox or not is they just announced a new Xbox. I just bought this not even a year ago. I understand why you did it, but it devalued this $500 thing I bought because you said you were going to make another even better one in the next 1 to 2 years, because you know that time span's short because they want to undercut Sony at any cost. Yeah. So you can expect next year them talking about the next Xbox that you need to buy, and then 2020 them roll it out. So to me, I'm like, yeah, we got 2 years. We have 5 developers you just bought. None of those games are going to be coming to the Xbox One. Okay, I got Gears and I got Forza Horizon 4, but what else?
And, like when I think of that conference, I think of games that I'm going to be able to play on my PlayStation.
Yeah,
Devil May Cry 5, Dying Light 2, like those are some of my highlights of that conference, and I know I'm going to be able to play it on my PlayStation.
And not to mention, like, brilliant, Kyle, as always. But not to mention, they just talked about buying 5 developers, and everybody's like, yeah, they got Ninja Theory. That's amazing. Yes. And it is. It's fucking awesome. Huge. You know, they have all these developers. I'm sorry. Didn't you just get rid of Lionhead? Right? Like, I'm sorry. Isn't Rare, let's be honest with each other, Rare is a shell of what they once were. They're not the same company they once were. They've used and abused some developers. We have Platinum saying that, you know, because of Scalebound, they almost closed. So to say that, like, oh man, that was awesome, and these next 5 games from these next studios, they're just instantly home runs. Yeah. I think I think as Xbox fans, and I do say I'm an Xbox fan because I've owned, again, day one OG, day one 360, day one. Okay? So don't say, Joe, whoa. Yeah, no, there is no reason for me to go and get excited because I need to see it. They're saying it, and that's getting me excited a bit, but I need to see that these games are actually something to be worth talking about. Because we've seen a lot of their games they've talked about. Other than Ori and the Blind Forest, I can't think of a game that going, holy shit, did Xbox just nail it? I need to go out and buy an Xbox.
The answer to that is Gears Pop, but even that is still mobile.
So yeah, no, I brilliant.
I just had to add that in, man.
Yeah, I like it. Now it's time for mail time, and you know what? I've been trying to work in a part of the show called Praise Be to Shu, and also to you. And I think I'm going to do it here with mail time. For my favorite piece of mail, I'm going to shout you the praises of Shuehei Yoshida, because he may be the president of Worldwide Studios, but we know he runs the whole shebang. He is the Illuminati. But with that, we got a few questions in the show, and I thought all of them were fantastic. So I want to first go to Mr. Brawl 96. He asks, what's your favorite weapon in a video game? Pat, what's your favorite weapon in a video game?
Ooh. I feel like it's bow and arrow, man. I love the bow and arrow. It was this big trend, man. Like 2013, like everyone had a bow and arrow. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's just like in real life, man. You have to be skillful with it, and that's why I am loving Horizon, because I mean that's the big weapon in there. But I would say bow and arrow. I mean, I use it in Skyrim. I use it in Breath of the Wild. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, bows are, yeah.
Come on, Fortnite.
Right
Come on.
Yeah. Let's get the Hunger Games scenario going. What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, 100%. If a game has a bow and arrow, I'm going to use that almost exclusively. Like when I play Far Cry 3, once I unlock the bow, I'm bow from here on out. When it comes to like specific weapons, though, shout out to Cloud's Buster Sword. I love that thing. Just design-wise and how big and crazy it is. I just love the look of it.
Yeah. I have like a go-to list. maybe I'll even talk about this. Maybe this is a perfect Bad Bit Games video. But one, I was going to get out of the closet, but I was just like, no, actually, it's holding up a bunch of shit. Gears of War, the Lancer, the chainsaw. God, so good. I have the Master Chief pistol and the Master Chief, the assault rifle in Halo. I love both of those designs so freaking much. But to me, when I think about a weapon, I'm not even thinking about one I can even wield, that I'll even ever have the chance of wielding. There are two iconic blades in Warcraft that are just awesome as fudge. I've been cursing too much, so fudge is going to do. First, it's Frostmourne. That is, look that up right now. If you go Frostmourne, what is it? They actually made a replica, and God, I wanted it so bad. But Frostmourne, that's the Lich King's blade, and it is, oh my God, so badass. It has that cool gothic feel, the frozen feel to it. It's awesome, and every time he kills someone, the souls of his victim, bam, right in that sword.
Oh, man.
So when he kills his papa, spoiler alert, Arthas kills his dad. He's like, "What are you doing, my child?" He's like, "Succeeding you," and then stabs him in the chest, and everybody gasp. Awesome, because then like the ghost of his dad's like there haunting him forever. It's awesome. And then another weapon from Warcraft, as you can see, I'm a bit of a fucking nerd. I said I was going to stop cursing. That is the Lightbringer. Oh my God, that weapon is awesome. There's so many characters that wield that weapon over time. I think, yeah, there's actually a move that paladins have. I think you actually even got to craft it at one point. No, it's just your special ability, I believe. No, I do actually know. No, yeah, in the latest expansion, you actually get to wield it. It's a legendary blade that like you just swing once and like it would kill like 1,000, like 100 undead. It was awesome. It's incredible. I'm a nerd. That was not even PlayStation whatsoever.
I mean, shout out to swords in general.
Oh yeah,
like swords are a really cool video game weapon. Even like the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and also the shotgun in Doom. Like, that's like the most badass weapon I've ever used. Yeah. So, yes.
And also, big shout out to Kratos' axe.
Yes.
when you throw that,
we will see.
Oh, when you feel
when you just, they have this awesome, and then, it just, when you grab it, it's just like, I feel
there was a good probably like 15-minute stretch where all I did was throw it as far as I can and just recall it. I didn't do anything other than that.
Oh, terrific. And then we got, and I added the Who Dat, but we got the Who Dat Ninja Dev. He goes,
with the gimmick infringement, man.
I know. Well, he says he's had it longer than you. He has proof. Go on the Discord, make us about a Discord. You'll see it. So
okay,
you guys might have to battle it out. So he goes, how does the trophy room feel about the possibility that The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima being cross-gen titles? What would you want, would you want to wait until next gen to play them, or do you think it will be some type of cross-buy situation? So I'll answer this. I'll go first. To me, I actually think that these are both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games, and I also think that they're going to be launch games for the PlayStation 5 because they'll be ready to play on the PlayStation 5. I think the architecture that we've seen from the PlayStation 4 being shown off, it is definitely, architecture of the PlayStation 5 being showed off or rumored, it's gonna be it's gonna be backwards compatible with the 4, and I think you're gonna see something cool with it. So Donnie's like, would you trade in your PlayStation now, knowing that none of these games are No, absolutely not. Not trading in my PlayStation for nothing. Also, Ghost of Tsushima has been confirmed. It is definitely a PlayStation 4 game. They made that very clear. So, what do you think, Pat? You think this is
that was that badass samurai? He was like running through the fields and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I definitely agree. That has to be both. You have way too many people with a PS4, and it looked really good, but I feel like PS4 could definitely run it. So, probably looking at. Yeah, like you said, the launch, and then also on the PS4.
All right. What about you, Kyle? You also agree?
I do agree that they'll be on both, but I probably would lean towards waiting until PS5 to buy them.
Okay.
Because like I'm one of those people that want to see it in the best quality possible.
Oh, yeah,
so
no,
I would probably wait until the PS5 to play them, which would suck. But I'll try my hardest.
Like I played The Last of Us 4 times, twice on the PlayStation 3. I think like twice on the. I think it's like 4 or 5 times. I lost count, and so like I'll play it on both. I don't care. Yeah. I really don't. I love that game way too much. So yeah, no, for me it's day one. Absolutely. And then our last question, which now we shall praise. Praise be to Shu, Nasty Boots. and also to you. And so with that, Nasty Boots' question is, name 3 studios you wish Sony would buy. Or he said bought, but I'm going to put it would buy. So what 3 studios come to your mind that you wish Sony would have bought or maybe would buy? And you could say some outrageous things. Okay, other than buying like the top 3 competitors. Like, you know, they're not buying Nintendo, they're not buying Microsoft. What would be 3 studios that you would want them to buy?
But like if they're already like first party exclusive to another console, are they still up for grabs in this scenario?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm gonna cheat.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with one. I'll give you time to think.
I think I know where you're going with it.
Okay. Well, I have 2, but you'll see. First one is I'm stealing from Nintendo. Rumor has it, is that, and again, this is like rumors of the grapevine, take it with a pinch of salt at best, is that Retro Studios doesn't look too good at the very moment. And that's why Nintendo hasn't shown anything off from them. But I think what they've been able to do with platformers and with existing IP from Nintendo, they actually take things like Donkey Kong and make them better. I actually think that Retro Studios could make any platformer that we've grown and love. Games like Ratchet and Clank, games like Sly Cooper, games like Jak and Daxter, and make something incredible with those older IP, or even go out and do something original for them. That's one developer I hope that they would have bought. What about you, Kyle?
I'm going Insomniac. Make Insomniac first party. Exclusive to PlayStation, so that way I don't have to worry about them leaving me again, and I have more hope for some new Resistance because I need it.
Sunset Overdrive too.
Yeah, I would love Insomniac to be first party.
God. All right. What about you, good sir, Patty Wagon himself?
Imagine if Bethesda was an exclusive. Oh my lord! That console would win. That would win. That's my crazy one. But realistically, I think Platinum is a very talented company there, and I feel like what they've been able to do with a lot of games, like on the Switch, like Bayonetta and stuff like that. Like I think they're super talented, and to see Anthem go through what it's been, I think. You get a solid company in Sony getting Platinum. I think sky's the limit with that.
Okay. For me, the next one should be a no-brainer. To me, you should be asking yourself in your car, which if you're Sean Capri, he would tell you, floor it. Just floor it as just foot to the ground. Sponsored by the Xbox Drive Overdrive. Just push your foot to the pedal. Just don't even wear a seatbelt. In fact, get out of your car right now. Duck and roll. Just do it. On the highway, Sean doesn't care. Just do it.
I care. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it, please. Tim Wolf's right now driving his son to school. He's like, all right, well, the nice man on the radio said it. No, it definitely From Software. God, From Software.
That's the one I thought you were going to say first.
Yeah.
Just give me Bloodborne, too. How many times do I got to beg? I got to praise the sun. I gotta praise Shuhei Platinum that game. He did what I couldn't. So, God. And just seeing like Dark Souls, bam, Sony. Right? Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Sony. Bloodborne, Game of the Generation, Sony. Win. It's a win. Oh my God, it's a win. Next one, Kyle.
Man, this is tough.
It is. We'll make this the final round.
I'm gonna steal from Xbox. In fact, I'm gonna steal from one they just bought or made exclusive. I'm gonna say, give me Playground Games. They make technically sound really beautiful games, and I know Sony already has Gran Turismo. That's more of like a simulation type of game. Give me some Forza Horizon on PlayStation, man.
Yeah,
that's what I would love.
Yeah,
for
that game, that series, I've always waited. I'm like, okay, Gran Turismo is gonna come back and clap back, but they never did. Forza is on a league of its own. Xbox owns the racing genre. Like, how crazy is that? Both simulation and arcade. Like, it's crazy. What about you, Patty Wagon?
And I will say this, no matter what company it is, I think Rare needs a new home. They have not treated Rare right. And for PlayStation, like, I forgot who was saying before, like, every PlayStation game looks the same. You have a big library there of, like, Banjo, Perfect Dark. Like, where's that game? Like, so there's so many, just the amount of IPs that Rare has. And they're well known, too. Like, these aren't, like, little run-of-the-mill games. Rare needs to be saved, man. If it's not Nintendo, then sure, Sony, have a crack at it.
We're gonna save Rare. That we can, and we gotta do it. As it's true. Yeah, God, man, Sea of Thieves, rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a Banjo game. But again, at the same time, Nintendo Xbox playing is so nice. Give me Banjo and Smash. Give me Master Chief and Smash. There's no limits anymore. You know? Make a PlayStation Battle Royale All Stars, X Smash Brothers. It shows, Nintendo what a real fighter looks like. I can't even put my fanboy hat for that. I'm so sorry. My last one, actually, God damn it, Pat, you took mine. So now I gotta think back. I would say Crytek is an easy one, right? Because I just said Time Splitters. But I gotta go back on this one. I gotta think real hard about it. And now I've got it. Well, wait, no, okay. All right, follow me on this one. I want Respawn. We talked about PlayStation not having multiplayer games. Respawn, Titanfall, Call of Duty, their reputation, I mean, the creators of Call of Duty, whatever, their reputation exceeds them. And I think whatever they do, whether it's Titanfall 3, whether it's whatever, if we're talking about a place that deserves a good home, it's definitely not EA.
Yeah.
So I think Respawn, come to Sony, come to Papa, give us this first-person shooter that Sony needs in their repertoire. That's what I think. So
that's a good one.
With that, everybody, wow, we actually ran a little late on this episode.
Oh, I don't get a third one?
No, oh, wait, do you have a third one, Kyle?
Yeah, I got a third one.
Oh, okay, go for it.
It's a Chewy, right?
It's a Chewy. Yeah, sure, we'll do that.
I was going to say Square Enix.
Oh shit! Just Hall of Square.
Yeah, but no, I'm going with Amy Hennig's future studio. PlayStation, bring her back home. Do the right thing. Do what you did for Kojima. Make a grand presentation about it. Bring Amy home.
Yeah,
we love her. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and if the rumors are true that Sony's trying to make like they're trying to sweet, Kojima into making Death Stranding just exclusive and actually just bring him aboard. Yeah. Holy shit, would that be news-breaking, like groundbreaking. Yeah. With that, though, that has been the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. And before we go, I need to plug some things. Or actually, we all need to plug some things. So, Kyle, let's start with you. Sure. What shall you plug?
Well, you can. I was going to say I'm going to plug myself, but I don't want to say that. You can follow me at WhoDatNinja73 on Twitter. Send me those friend requests on PSN, same name. My show, all about the Kind of Funny community, is called Best Friends Talk Funny. Follow it there. This month is all about the Kind of Honeys is the theme. So every week I'm going to have a Kind of Honey on and as a guest. And this Saturday, I'm recording with Sean Capri for We the Nerdy, so look out for that one soon.
Oh my god, that's so awesome! That's so incredible. I'm so excited. Pat, what do you got for us, man?
Yeah, you can find me Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Nintendo Talk. We do mostly Nintendo content, podcast reviews. Just started doing those live streams, so come find me over here. Bad Bit has been on the channel multiple times, so
I have. I think a good solid 2 times. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, it's fantastic. Planet Nintendo podcasts, amazing. Unfortunately, it's only on YouTube. Get on iTunes, damn it.
I know we got to do that
soon. But yeah, please follow Nintendo Talk because he's seriously. I'm gonna paint something very beautiful for you right now. With Bobby's absence, remember the Nintendo guru. Oh man, it's real rough. He passed away a few months ago. Horrible ice cream truck accident. Just came out of nowhere. The ice cream truck actually just fell. Bam! He was turned.
You're running out of.
Yeah, it's a Fortnite rift.
Fortnite rift opened up and just ice cream truck fell on poor Bobby, and then Mark Carabin somehow miraculously revived him. Hashtag resurrect Bobby. Hashtag the guru lives. But you filled this void of Nintendo in such a brilliant way. And you offer such a unique, not just voice, but style to it as well. So, guys, if you go, I own a Switch as well, go to the Nintendo Talks channel because he does make some of the best Nintendo content. I say some because some of it sucks. I'm only kidding. But seriously, no, everything Pat does is gold. And the Bargain Bros series is one of the best series ever. And I can't wait to see how you learn and grow that series because it's just the sky's the limit. I'm so excited for you. With that, enough stroking your ego. I gotta now stroke mine. Please, guys, follow the Trophy Room at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. Please, if you like this show, share it with your friends, your family. Hell, if you hate the show, share it to someone you don't fucking like. Okay? Share it to Sean Capri. Whatever you do, when you're sharing it on Twitter, you go at Sean Capri and then you do hashtag Capri for Conspiracy. He loves it. He can't get enough of it. So, yeah, please rate us 5 stars on iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you have an RSS feed. Please watch us, rate us. It does help us out so much. The growth of this channel, it's the summertime. We shouldn't be doing horrible, and we are every episode. It's just like, I'm not believing this. I don't at all. Next week, we're going to have our first ever live show if my computer decides it doesn't want to die. Nice. So episode 50 will be the first live Trophy Room experience. You're hearing it now. Again, episode 50, we're going to have our live show. And there's even more bigger news coming up that hopefully by episode 50, I will be able to share with you. But let's just say the Trophy Room's going to have some big, beautiful places it's going to be going. And so with that, you can follow me at Mr. Badbit on Twitter and Badbit Games on YouTube. Look it up. Search it, because I don't want to say the URL handle. It's embarrassing to me. So with that all said and with that all out of the way, actually, guys, I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
And first off, very depressing show.
Yeah.
Super. I'm a dude, and I'm like, okay, enough. Seriously. Holy crap. But every time they go, praise be, and I'm like, praise be to Shu. And they're like, also to you. I'm like,
before you go, Joe.
Yes.
Don't you have some people to thank?
Holy crap. I do. Man. Kyle saves me. This is why he's the best co-host, because I get caffeinated before the show and I just forget everything. So, guys, I love you all so much, and I want to say a little segment called P.S. I Love You. This is to all the people that support the show in one way or the other, or give us beautiful shout-outs. And with that, let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/makeusbetter, where you guys make us better week in, week out. Our platinum executive producers, Corey Hicks at twitch.tv/chicks_18. Seriously, he does some amazing streams. Check him out. Mr. Mark Moody, I was just on his podcast, the Glorious Movie Podcast. Check him out on his YouTube channel at there you go, Mr. Moody Reviews. And again, the Glorious Movie Show, I was on there. iTunes, check it out. Wherever there's an RSS feed service, check it out. Our gold executive producers, Sheldon Benedict, Tony Baker, and Panak Malloy. I pronounce that awful, and I'm sorry, Malloy, but you were wonderful. She was just on We the Gamercast. She was fantastic. And our executive producers, Dante Bellini, I love it. Jared Guthart, Dude427, Kevin Austin, James Bloodborne, I'm saying it, Tammy Ryan, Robbie Bobby Miller himself, Tim Wolf, love you, Joel Brooks, Martini G, Nasty Boots, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong. Thank you so very much for supporting the show. P.S. I love you. Quite fond of you. So now I get to close out this show. With that said, keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation.